I've done the whole concept of like, just try to get everybody in, and, you know, done a launch where you get 100 people in and you make a bunch of money, you make 100 grand. It's like, sweet. And then half the customers like just turn out to be the biggest pain in the freaking butt. Right. And it's like, it's not really their fault. It's more my fault. Why? Because I didn't set the expectations right. And it would be way easier if I would have just been like, listen, I'm building the program. This is the type of person we want in. If you don't want to talk about controversy, I am not the person for you. Right? Like, that's how I do my thing. And so when you know the way that you do something, and you know, like, this is how I built my business, this is how I built my product, this is how I built my brand, and I'm going to own that 100%, all of a sudden it becomes so easy. And people are going to share the crap out of your content because all of a sudden they're seeing somebody else be completely confident in what it is that they're teaching and happen to be aligning with them on these controversial topics.
Yep. Yeah, it makes total sense. So let me know in the comments, guys, for you guys watching, do you guys do any controversy now? Like, are you realizing you do something and you weren't even thinking about it? Like, I've seen just such a mess of this in the last couple of months where most people aren't doing it strategically. So I'd love to, pull up some questions if you guys have any questions around this. So the next question is like, all right, how do we take that controversy now that you've built those loyal audience that, you know, share your views and all that, and actually do something with it, make sure it actually drives your business growth. So, you know, step one is getting the attention of the eyeballs, the loyal fans. Then what?
Yeah. And I think this really comes back to having a business or a community in place and a system in place to be able to extract leads. And I know you talk about this a lot, right? Like, a community is great, but if you don't have a way to reach into that community and extract leads from it, extract cash from that by offering something of value, you're going to have a really hard time making any form of money, right? Like, audiences are pointless unless you have a way to extract value from it, right?
Yep.
And so for me, this is why it's so important. And this is why I say, like, you can be incredibly controversial and make no money. You can have a lot of followers and make no money, right? If you focus on controversial topics. Like, if I were to make Josh Forti brand the Donald Trump brand, I would make no money. Okay. But here's the deal.
You got a publishing site, maybe make some ad money.
Yeah, maybe that. If I wanted to be I'm not that big of a Trump fanboy. All right. But like, if I want to build a brand that's going to be profitable for me and I'm going to extract leads out of this, I'm going to make any form of money. Russell Brunson talks about this. You need frameworks, right? So you have your unique way of doing things. And so when I'm talking about your worldview, when I'm talking about your way of doing things, I'm simply talking about your frameworks. So for me, I'm very mindset focused. I believe that literally the key to anything that you want in life can happen just by shifting your perspective and shifting your mindset approach to it. Like, it's crazy. And I firmly, truly 100% believe that. So all those things that I'm talking about, I'm not making those the focal point. I am simply leveraging those for attention to drive awareness to whatever topic it is that I'm trying to bring awareness to. And then I'm going to make an irresistible offer. For me, it's a free lead magnet. It could be low ticket, it could be free with upsells, however you want to structure that, and driving people to that if they want more, right? So if I'm like, hey man, like, let's use this freedom thing, right? I'm all about freedom, right? Freedom in money, freedom in mindset, freedom in time, right? Listen, if I'm going to post something about Donald Trump, I'm going to be like, hey, Trump did this. It's going to bring you more freedom of choice. It's going to do this. Cool. Listen, the reason I support that is because I'm about X, Y, Z, P to Q. Like, here's why it is. You want more information about this? Go check out my free lead magnet, right? Yep. And so now you might get, 10,000 impressions on the post, and you might get 200 people to engage with it. And 50 of them, are interested in what it is that you have to say. And you got a 50% opt-in rate. You just got 20 to 25 free leads, right? Mm-hmm. Here's the deal. You don't use controversy. You get 100 people to see your post. You get one person interested, and voila. Great. You don't have controversy, but you got no leads out of the deal, right? And so it's and it all comes down to the way you communicate and present this. So if I know, hey, listen, I'm going to be controversial, I've got to have an end objective. I've got to know what I believe. I've got to know what I think. I've got to know why I'm doing this. And I'm not just posting controversy for the sake of getting likes. I'm doing it because I want to drive traffic to, whether it's a training or an ebook or a webinar, whatever, my Facebook group even, right? It's super easy way to grow that Facebook group, right? Hey, listen, right? I have a Facebook group. It's about business. Has nothing to do with politics. Zero, right? No, absolutely nothing to do with Trump, any form of political things. People find me through some political thing, find out that I'm a business owner, find out that I teach entrepreneurs how to go and create freedom in their life, and go, yo, I'm a business owner. I like your way of view. I like that point of view and perspective. I'm going to go join your group. Boom. And now I'm growing my group. I'm growing my lead magnets. Like, you've got to have a lead magnet or some irresistible offer that furthers your point of view, furthers your framework or way of doing something. And then your job with controversy is to connect the dots. Controversy, my way of thinking. If I can convince somebody that this controversy is in alignment with my way of thinking and they want more of that, they're going to come and they're going to come over here and opt into my lead magnet.
100%. And like, what something just popped into my mind, like your first lead magnet is your voice. You know, what do you actually want to get out there and share? What do you stand for? What do you not stand for? You know, what do you want to put out there? What stories do you want to share? What, news do you want to comment on? You know, what is the things going on in your life, and what are you picking up from that and learning from that? Like, that's like one of the methods I teach. I call it the everyday content strategy, where you take something that's already going on in your everyday life. Maybe you're working with a client, or you see some news or see something, and you have an idea, and then you got to pull that through your brain and out pops some content. This is hands down the easiest way
100%.
to create content, because you don't have to sit there and think with a blank document. You just, something happens, you get inspired and you make a post, or you go live, or, just document and share. And when you know what you stand for, you have that lens too. You have the thing going on, you know what you stand for, your values and all that. It's like, bam, okay, cool, even better. There's a post that I know is going to align with me and my ideal audience.
And I'm going to tell you guys a little secret, and I'm going to tell you a story to prove this. It's actually the most effective way of marketing. And by taking something that is seemingly unrelated and making it related, because that's what helps people make the connection. And the perfect example of this, and you guys know Russell Brunson. Russell Brunson talks about, the power of storytelling, and, the power of, how in marketing, it's just all storytelling, right? We've heard Russell Brunson say this a million times. There's a client of mine. Her name's Catherine Jones. I know you know Catherine. She spoke on stage at Funnel Hacking Live, right? She's awesome. And she's one of the best storytellers I've ever heard, right? I mean, she's just phenomenal at it. So we did a 5-day challenge, and off of a $500 product, we did a $100,000 launch, okay, in 5 days. It's just freaking insane, right? But on this 5-day challenge, it was about an hour each day. She would get on there and teach. And I kid you not, she would tell stories that are like 15 or 20 minutes long. And for the first 15 minutes of that 20-minute story, you have no idea how she's going to correlate this back to whatever it is that she's trying to teach you right now. Yeah. Right. But she's such a good storyteller, and she makes it so relatable that by the time you're done, you're so invested in that story, and you have such an understanding of the purpose that she's trying to teach, that all of a sudden when she's like, and that's what this thing over here gets you, you're completely sold on it. And the perfect example is she has a sister, and her sister has Lyme's disease, right? And so one of the points that she was trying to make was that in business, you want to build a business that allows you to have freedom in your life, right? Have flexibility of schedule and things like that. And she was trying to drive home this point that that's a super important thing to focus on. Well, she goes and she tells this 15-minute emotional story, about how her sister had Lyme's disease, and how she, went, and every day she was driving her to the hospital, and had the ability to go and be there next to her sister, and all just super emotional story. And you're just completely invested into it. Oh my gosh. And at the end, and she goes, and I was only able to do that because I built a business that allowed me to have the freedom in my life. And it's okay, you just set the context. I'm completely sold on whatever everybody is you're about to tell me. Now you've made the correlation, and now I understand why that's so important. And now I've connected with them emotionally. I've drawn that conclusion. And now, even though the 20-minute video was supposed to be convincing me about why I need this thing over here, she spent 15 minutes talking about something completely separate. That's what we're talking about with controversy.